This is the Becoming Muslim podcast at untoislam.com, the show that helps people convert to Islam with hosts from the US, UK, and Australia.
And so he recited to me Surah Al-Ikhlas, and when he recited that to me, I almost went into shock. I said, man, that's what I believe in. All this, I was going crazy with all this 3 in 1 and everything. And when you recite that made it plain and clear. And I said, well, man, where can I get one of those books? And he said, you go up here on Nostrand Avenue in Brooklyn, and you go over here I ran up there and I said, oh, you got one of them Korans? He said, no, it's Quran,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, so I bought it, and I went on the train, and I went home, and I went in my room, and I popped it open, and I read that Surah Ikhlas, but then I went to the beginning, and when I read Surah Fatiha, I said, oh man, my heart started feeling at ease. Look, it took me 3 days to read the whole Quran, and the third day I ran up to the place and I looked for that brother, and they said, oh, he's over here. I went and I found him. I said, look, I want to become Muslim. I'm ready to become Muslim.
Sure.
Feeling, I don't have no feeling. I just got a feeling of joy and a feeling of that I recognize Allah's true self, There's none worthy of worship but Him. So I said, man, that just seeing that clarity in my life, it changed everything.
So I want everyone to know we are here. We're joined by Imam Yusef. Is it Maisonet?
Yes.
He is the author of From Harlem to Mecca, A Latino's Journey to Islam. And I just want to say welcome and thank you for joining us.
In alhamdulillah, nahmadu wa nasta'inu wa nastaghfiru wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Okay.
All thanks and praise are due to Allah. We seek His help and forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil within ourselves and the consequences of our evil deeds. Whoever Allah guides will never be led astray, and whoever Allah leads astray will never find guidance. I bear witness there is no God but Allah, alone without any partners, and I bear witness that Muhammad is His servant and His messenger.
That was beautiful. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. That is beautiful. It is.
Yes, it is. And you see, when you recite this you just recite little Quran every day. You keep Allah in your mind. You keep Allah in your heart, because that's what we have. We have to clean ourselves. Every single one of us. There's nobody. That he's. Because. Look, I was raised by Jesuit priests,
Yes, yes, I remember reading that.
Yeah, and they are some of the roughest ones out there. And but even with all the whippings and beatings and I was a kid, I could take all that. But the thing was that it kept me, for some reason, God conscious. And so when I reached about 16, going on 17, I ran to some artists, and they were smelling so nice with all their clothes, and they were looking sharp. I said, man, look at these guys' hair, man,
Wow.
And I asked the guys, so that's what Islam represents. They said, no, man, they started. And one brother said, look, I just want you to listen to this and you tell me what you think. And he recited Surah Al-Ikhlas.
Yes, which is my favorite. I have that one
Yeah.
memorized.
And so but prior to that, I hadn't seen Muslims, but American Muslims like this, and they were sharp. I mean, these dudes look good, and they smell good, all that good oil.
Mm-hmm.
And so he recited to me Surat Ikhlas, and when he recited that to me, I almost went into shock. I said, "Man, that's what I believe in." All this, I was going crazy with all this 3-in-1 and everything. And when you recite that, that made it plain and clear.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me,
No,
plain and clear.
sure.
And I say, well, man, where can I get one of those books?
Mm-hmm.
One of those Korans, because back then.
Yeah.
And he said, you go up here on Nostrand Avenue in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And you go over here and you go, and it costs about $5. Man,
Wow.
I ran up there and I said, "Oh, you got one of them Korans?" He said,
Mm-hmm.
"No, it's Quran."
Yeah.
I started getting my initial lessons right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, so I bought it, and I mean, I went on the train and I went home and I went in my room.
Mm-hmm.
And I popped it open and I read that Surah Ikhlas, but then I went to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read Surah Fatih, I said, "Oh man, my heart started feeling at ease."
Yes.
And then when look, it took me 3 days to read the whole Quran.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the third day, I ran up to the place and I looked for that brother, and they said, "Oh, he's over here." I found him.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Look, I want to become Muslim. I'm ready to become Muslim."
Sure.
And he said, "Okay, well, you have to, shower and you gotta shave and this and that." I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh man." Boom, I went home.
Oh my goodness.
I went back and I did all that in the month. So I went.
Mm-hmm.
And it was me and another lady that she was going to take Shahada.
Sure.
We took Shahada together.
Alhamdulillah.
And I promise you that, feeling, I don't have no feeling. I'm just got a feeling of joy.
Yes.
And a feeling of that I recognize Allah's true self,
Yes.
There's none worthy of worship but him. So I said, man, that just seeing that clarity in my life, it changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
But little did I know that Ramadan was 3 or 4 weeks, I believe, away.
Sure.
And oh man, I'm a young man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that first day, it broke me down.
Yeah. So how old were you when you converted or reverted to Islam?
Oh man, I was like 16 and a half.
Oh man, you were young. I had no idea you were so young. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you were in your 20s.
No.
Alhamdulillah. Wow.
And then, and so it was, look, back in them days, it was a lot of partying, a lot of boogaloo, salsa, that type of thing. That us Latinos
Oh yeah,
get
salsa.
into.
Yeah, sure.
And but for me, I wasn't really interested in none of that. I was interested in this newfound love, and there was nothing negative about it. I was just every day I was more and more in love with this deen. And while everybody, come on over here, let's go. No,
Sure.
bro. I said, I'm going to Manhattan to somewhere in Brooklyn or somewhere where I knew there was Muslims congregated.
Sure.
And we would eat. We would go to movies. We were just hanging out, just like family,
Yeah.
And me being a young kid like that, so then it was just an amazing thing. But what happened was that my mother saw me making salat.
Oh yeah, I was wondering, how did your family react? Yeah.
Then my mother, she was a piritita. She was a Jehovah's Witness. They thought,
Oh my. Yeah, yeah, Jehovah's Witness. Sure. I have
Yeah.
many cousins who are Jehovah's Witnesses.
So then she said, "Look, you can be doing that in my house." I said, "But Mama, I'm praying to the same God." She said, "I don't care what you say you're doing. I don't want you doing it here." I said, "Boom, big problem."
Yeah, yeah, you have to
So,
pray.
yeah, so I went and I talked to my aunt. I asked her, she had an extra room that she rented out to me, and she
Sure,
said,
sure.
so then I told my mother, I asked her, basically, and she said, "Yeah, but you have to come home and eat every day." I said, "But my whole diet's changed. I don't eat pork." And
Sure.
she told me, "I'm gonna take care of all that for you. Just come home and eat every day. I want to see." So that's what I did. And so then finally, I wound up getting into the army.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
And,
Okay.
and yeah, and then that was during the Vietnam War era.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So I thought, I said, "Oh man, I'm the only Muslim." There was plenty of Muslims in the service, in the army.
Alhamdulillah, that's wonderful.
There was colonels, there was captains, and the Muslim. I said, "Oh, Americans." I said, "Oh man, so but I didn't have to go to Vietnam because my brother was there and so forth. So all them, Allah spared me of all that.
Yes, yes, that was I've heard things. I've had, known people who've gone to Vietnam and how difficult it was for them, especially when they came back, a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder and things like that. So Allah
Yes,
preserved you from all that. So
yes, he did.
I was gonna ask you, was it hard to convert? But it seems like it wasn't really that hard for you to convert.
No, look, it wasn't that hard because I promise you, once I read Surah Ikhlas, there was nobody can tell me nothing other than that. Not even a Muslim. Oh no, no. I said, "No, man. I finally found out what the deal is. That there's only one God.
Yes.
And everybody else is this prophet and this and that and all that." And I said, "Man, that's so simple, Whereas they had me with this 3-in-1 and Holy Mary, Mother of God, and I said, "Oh man, So that's one of the surahs that I give a lot of dawah on Surah Marianne, because I let them know how much we, as Muslims, how much we love Jesus and how much we cherish him.
Yes.
And not to talk bad about him, and they love it. Come back again another day. So I do that, and I also go to synagogues in Mobile. But one of my prerequisites is that I need to call the adhan,
Oh,
So,
I love the Adhan. It's so beautiful.
yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
So then I call the adhan inside the synagogue.
Wow.
And once I call the adhan, I explain what it is, and and that eases our way into a good conversation. We talk about Moses.
Sure.
May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. And they say, "Oh man, they so," but then we show in the Quran that Allah says, "La ikraha fi din." There's no compulsion in religion. So you can't compel nobody to believe in what you believe in just because. No, you have to respect the religion, because the same God that they worship and the same God that you worship. It's just that they have ways of that makes their religion unclear. And Islam is a religion that's most that it brings is clarity.
It does. It does. When I read the Quran the first time, it was like my whole life made sense. Like there was just so much in there that sort of, I don't know, it was consistent. That was the one thing I was looking for, because it always, this whole 3-in-1 thing was always very confusing to me.
Yes,
And
yes.
the inconsistency, we have the Bible, you have the Old Testament, God who is angry and vengeful in a way. And then you have the New Testament God who's all love. And it doesn't quite mesh,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
very
yeah,
confusing.
yeah, yeah.
And so when I read the Quran, it was just very consistent. God is merciful,
Yeah,
God is compassionate, God is forgiving. I mean, all those beautiful things,
yeah.
but just at the same time.
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
And one thing that I tell the my audience, the Christians, that if you can find somewhere in the Bible where Jesus said, "Worship me," I'll become Christian right now.
mhm.
And you can hear the pages flapping back and forth.
I looked for
Like,
that too. That was another thing that
yeah,
convinced
yeah,
me.
yeah,
It's not there. He
yeah,
doesn't say worship me. He says worship
yeah.
God.
Yeah, and so they and a lot of them they realize they say, oh man, this guy just gave us some heavy knowledge, but I do it to share with them
Hmm.
so that they know that that we're not terrorists,
Hmm.
we lovers of peace,
Yes, yes.
and all that that's happening with the Arabs and is unfortunate, but
Hmm.
we, as Muslims, we, our thing is to propagate this peace at all times.
Sure. Islam means, it's a religion of peace. So,
Yeah,
yeah, salam is kind of in there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in all the religions.
Hmm.
Shalom,
Shalom.
and
Uh-huh.
it would have been shalom, shalom, but just to make it the Christians say peace, peace, and the
Peace.
Muslims say assalamu alaikum. So
Yes,
we
that's
all
true.
about peace.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Because when you're in mass, you always turn to the person next to you and say peace.
yeah, there you go. There you go.
I was not raised Catholic, but I converted to Catholicism and then became Muslim. So
Okay, so
I'm a
so
little
you know
familiar.
about all them rituals that they have, and look, and I was an altar boy, and
Hmm.
going around with that little thing and reciting all that Latin, because I
Hmm.
mean I was into it since I was a kid,
Hmm. Sure.
and I liked it, and especially with all the talk that they had, but the priest that did well, alhamdulillah, I mean that they never
Hmm.
transgress in that sense.
Sure, sure. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
I
But
took a lot of whippings, but that was
yeah,
normal,
that's
for
a
me.
different sort of discipline, isn't it? Yes, you
Yes.
said the Jesuits are mean.
No, not
Um,
yeah, but
strict, maybe strict is a better word. Strict,
yes, yes,
strict.
and I promise you that when I was Muslim, I went back to the home
Mm-hmm.
and I thanked them,
Alhamdulillah. Yeah,
and
yeah, that's
and
wonderful.
I told them that I became Muslim and everything, but but and I told them I became Muslim because of your generosity, because of
Hmm.
your love,
Hmm.
and you gotta share that with them so that
Hmm.
they can know the effect that it has upon people, when they
Sure, of
treat them.
course.
You know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's wonderful. So, I have a question. So, how did you deepen your knowledge about Islam as a new Muslim? How did you
How
learn
that?
more? Yeah, how did you
Well,
learn more?
yeah. Well, look, naturally I went all over the place seeking knowledge and here
Mm-hmm.
and there and I took a trip and I landed in England,
Mm-hmm.
and they told me about a community over there, but they were Sufis,
Yes, I'm very curious about this.
and,
This type you
and
met Sufis. Yes.
yeah, and so then I went over there and this guy he said, look, take this train and go down to this place called
Mm-hmm.
Norwich and
Mm-hmm.
just go in there. I have somebody waiting on you. I said,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So anyway, I got on the train in Norwich. Okay, I got out. When I got off the train, there was a Muslim brother standing right there waiting on me with a long thobe and
Oh wow.
with a turban on and everything else. And I said, Assalamu alaikum. He said, Yusef. I said, yes. Oh, alaikum. So he said, come with me, but let me get your bags. And I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
treated me like I was somebody, I said, oh,
Alhamdulillah.
man. So they put me up with a brother and his
Mm-hmm.
family, and
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to, share with them, if they need anything because look, I went for 30 days. I wound up staying about 3 months,
Wow.
because I fell in love with the community, with the brothers, because they had a big community of children, their wives, and everything. And the only thing that they were all with blonde hair and blue eyes.
Oh,
And
well.
yeah, and I said, oh, and they were Assalamu alaikum, and the little kids, they could recite Surah Yasin, the whole thing.
Really? Alhamdulillah, I love Surah Yasin.
Man, the
Wow.
kids, and I said, what? I said, no, they say, all the children knows. I said, man, that is beautiful. So alhamdulillah, that I learned a lot from them, and I learned a lot from the brothers in Paris and Spain. But I went to the United Arab Emirates.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And that's where I got my certification. They gave me a certificate as an imam, So
okay.
So this way, if I have to, I say, here it is, and to stand by them and all that,
How do you get a certificate as an imam? I mean, I know nothing.
No,
nothing about that. How does that work?
I had to go to school, and basically you study basically a lot of the different things about Islam as far as marriage, funerals, how to make salat this way, how to make salat, according to what the Prophet did, and so forth. And it's just it's a beautiful thing, and you learn it in Arabic and translate it.
Sure.
And so then I also went to the Azhar University in Egypt. And we went out because I used to take brothers and sisters I took a group of 15 brothers to the United Arab Emirates, and I took 10 sisters, American, Latina, Latinas, white, black. I took them all, also for another trip. And then I took a group of Latino Muslims from Argentina.
Oh, wow.
From Guatemala, from Colombia, from all the sides.
It's amazing.
From Dominican Republic, and we went to Egypt, outside university, for a whole month. Everything paid for. I mean, it was beautiful,
That's amazing.
Yes. And
so much knowledge.
So that most of all the Latino brothers and sisters that know me, they know that, either they went with me or they want to go, or they know about the trips,
Sure, yeah.
So, the only thing is that, I just, gotten a little older, and, I had to slow down,
Yeah, sure, of course.
So, that's the main thing. But, if I can help a brother or sister get into a program, I will, inshallah.
Inshallah, that's wonderful. So, like for a new Muslim, what would you recommend them do, like to deepen their knowledge of Islam?
Well, look, to deepen the knowledge about Islam, I would recommend that they study the salats first, because this way you can, when you making salat, you can have a proper communication with Allah. You can feel, the presence of the Almighty, if you get into your salats. And that's why the Prophet said, pray as you see me praying. A lot of people, no, I do it like this because I do like, no, that ain't the way the Prophet did it. You have to do it. So if you want to benefit from it, do it as he did it. And you'll see the benefits. I promise you. Because you say, "Oh man, I learned Surah. I know." And next thing you say, "Oh man, I know my whole salat's in Arabic," and you don't even realize it, But by studying it, there's a beautiful beautiful book by Muhammad Said Ali.
Okay.
And he's an Egyptian brother, but he's been in the States teaching us all this beautiful deen, but he has a prayer book that is this. I haven't seen a better prayer book yet.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's
And
definitely something that even I'm still working on my Arabic. I don't have my whole prayer memorized. I have it written
yeah.
down.
Okay. Well,
So
look, what I'll do is I'll get your book, and when I get it, I'll let you know. Okay.
okay.
And then
Alhamdulillah.
I'll see
Alhamdulillah.
what he's saying.
So let's see. So yeah, studying this a lot, that's beautiful. That's a good advice. So is there any like special etiquette you need to know about when you're learning from Islamic teachers? I mean, I'm just curious. These are things I don't know.
Yeah, and basically, look, the teachers, they want you to pay attention. So you ain't gonna go to a class and falling asleep or talking or disturbing them, because they'll let you know. Hold on, you need to talk. Go outside and I'll see you tomorrow. And you say, oh man, yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
one thing is if you look, that's why this in here, this chest, this heart in here is so important, because this heart has to want it. This heart has to, oh man, I need look, I need to learn the Fatiha, and then not only learn the Fatiha, then I had to learn the tajweed of the Fatiha, so I could say it properly. Yeah, it's very so. And then and the more you learn it, the more Allah is rewarding you. You know.
Yes, and the tajweed is the pronunciation of the letters, the sounds. I think I heard the word maharij before applied. With I didn't know what tajweed was until September, so of this last year. But it's very important.
Yeah, it is. And so then because Allah, alhamdulillah, no, you have to pronounce it the way it's supposed to be pronounced. And the only way that you're gonna get that is either you have a good teacher or you have a good ear. And if you have a good ear, you can learn it from the Quran that's online, and like say, oh, let me hear how he says it, like that.
Sure.
And but that's the thing about Islam is that you have to be for real in order for it to work for you, that love of Allah, it has to be real, because Allah knows everything. He knows the head. So so you got to be for real, and alhamdulillah, so that the new Muslims, they can benefit from it. And because usually during the first, I guess, year or something, you go through a lot of not doubts, but a lot of finding out about things, and
there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of changes. There's just there's a lot of differences that you're not used to.
Yes, and because like for example, a sister might become Muslim, and then all the brothers they jumping up trying to, oh man, you need to get married. And I said, no. What you need to do is learn Islam or Deen.
Yes, I think that's important. Sure.
And then when she gets a little knowledge about marriage and so forth, then she could choose you, because see, I tell the brothers that now y'all crying over, y'all want virgins and this and that and all that, but y'all say y'all follow the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad. Y'all don't, because the Prophet Muhammad, his first wife was Khadijah.
Yes, and she was divorced, wasn't she, and widowed, and had children?
Yes, she was widowed. All right, and so, and she proposed to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said yes, he marry her. See, so where did we miss out on that? You could marry an older sister because of the knowledge that she possessed. You can marry because of her love. You can marry because of her beauty. See, there's all these things. But when you letting that go for, it might be a good Muslim sister, but knowledge-wise, she got a lot to learn,
Sure, of course.
and maybe you feel that you're the person that can teach her, alhamdulillah. But a lot of times that winds up being that, and I hate to talk about it, but I have to. Is that the brothers, they marry a sister, then they want to keep it all in the house, then they want to break a family ties with a family because they ain't Muslim and all that, and all that is contrary to Islam.
Yeah, definitely. I talked to someone about that when she became Muslim. She said they want me to not talk to my family anymore, and I was like, well, that's new to me. I never heard that before. You know,
Allah says, do not break the ties of of kinship.
Of kinship, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Allah said, because He is watching over you. You know what I mean? So all that, so that's what's good about studying a little bit, is that when they come up with all that crazy, like somebody, I'm gonna keep on fast. I said, no, I'll tell you what, you got to break your fast according to the way the Prophet, and you can't fast when he said not to fast.
Yes, during the Eid. And there was a story, wasn't there a story about 3 men who came to the house, and one of them was like, I'm going to go fast all the time, and the other one was like, I'm going to stay away from women. And then the other one, I forgot what the third person was going to do. Oh, I'm going to stay up all night praying.
Yeah. And
he said not to do those things.
Yeah.
In moderation.
And just like he said, I pray the way that I pray, I want you to pray. I marry, you marry. Like, then I'm not ready. Hold on. You're not ready? How you gonna tell me you're not ready? You've been Muslim 6-7 years and haven't, don't have a husband or an intended or nothing like that, And because look, I have given shahadas even to gay people, and I taught them Salah, and and once they bang, I move on to the next. I never, the reason I knew they were gay because they told me what that was, But I give dawah to everybody.
Sure, everybody, yeah. Alhamdulillah.
Look, I promise you, I've spent some beautiful times giving dawah. Even in Spain, we gave shahada to an 87-year-old lady, and she said, I wanted to become Muslim so bad, and then we say, why? Why? She said, yeah, because I love Allah, and plus I love this man right here, and I want to marry him. And he was 9 years old. I said, man, a shahada and a wedding at the same time. I said,
that's amazing. The shahada and a wedding. Alhamdulillah.
So I've experienced beautiful moments like that with Muslims all over the world because I was a merchant seaman. I traveled.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That's so fascinating. I told my son, one of my children about that you were traveling all over the world, and I was like, that's just amazing.
Yeah, and the thing about it, that alhamdulillah, that I did it off of my job, but they used to fly me from here to Japan, and I promise you that I would tell them I don't fly unless it's first class. Oh, who you think you are? Blah, 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 blah. Say, you find out who I am. They call me that. They call me, can you leave tonight? Is it first class? Yes. Okay. Then,
all right. Yeah, that's nice.
And sometimes I would get to whatever country it was, and the ship wasn't there. And so they had to put me up in the hotel and pay for this, pay for that. So I had a pretty good relationship with my job. It was
Alhamdulillah, that's wonderful.
And I met plenty of Muslims all over the world, and I was able to make my Hajj 3 times.
Wow, Alhamdulillah. I really want to hear about Hajj. I have not been on Hajj. Inshallah, I will go and Umrah. Inshallah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's important too because me and my wife, we made Umrah and then we made Hajj, So they call that Umrah Tomato, that, it's a combination of it, because that's the way
okay.
the Prophet wanted you to, he wanted you to make Umrah, and then, but if not, you can make Hajj, and
I didn't know
just like,
that. I didn't know that because
yeah.
I have an ustad who I'm learning to read Quran through this. It's called Quran Revolution, and so
Oh,
ustad, he always talks about, well, I'm going to take you all on Umrah, you know, and I'm like, well, why isn't he saying he's going to take us on Hajj first?
yeah,
Should we
yeah,
go to that first and then do the Umrah? But I guess
yeah, no,
you actually answered my question. So
yeah,
Umrah and then Hajj.
yes.
So
And it's a beautiful feeling, because my first time when I arrived at the Kaaba, I was able just to look at it, and seeing that big black thing right there, right in front of my eyes, was like, I mean, it just blew my chest wide open, and
wow.
I couldn't help myself. I made the 7 tawafs,
Yeah.
as a visitor, and then we stayed there in Mecca for one more night. Then we traveled to Medina. But what I did was, when I went to Hajj with my wife, that instead of us taking the bus to Medina, we flew.
Wow.
Yeah, we flew with all them rich Saudis, and they were looking at me like, "Who's this guy?" Yeah, but they don't know how to arrange all that ahead of time. And we flew, and I mean, we had the most beautiful Hajj. I mean, beautiful Hajj. I mean, especially with my wife, and it was, it was just a blessing that man, I promise that I say, oh, I don't deserve this. Allah knows what you deserve, and Allah will give you what you need. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. That is so true. I found that to be so true in my life. When I look
Yeah.
back, when I became Muslim, there was just so
Yes.
much that, so many things, like, I lost my job right after I became Muslim.
Oh,
And between losing my job, but I was right before Ramadan. So it was sort of a blessing in a way, because then I could spend my first Ramadan. I spent my first Ramadan really just focused. And I was able to start, really focusing on the Quran. And literally the last day, or the second to last day of Ramadan, I was actually able to read from the Quran for the first time. My
wow.
whole prayer throughout Ramadan was, please, Lord, I wanted to read the Quran,
Oh,
And at the
Lord.
very end, I could very badly, no
Yeah.
tajweed at all. I didn't even know what
Yeah.
tajweed was. I
Yes.
could read, but
Yeah.
Allah provided for me, alhamdulillah. I felt very blessed. Every single one of those months, I always, by some way or the other, had enough money to pay all my bills until I was actually able to get a job.
That's
So,
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah. Are you okay now? Or?
Yeah, I'm great now. I got a better job, alhamdulillah.
Oh, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Subhanallah, I got a better
Allahu Akbar,
job. And
Allahu Akbar.
it turned out to be a blessing, So,
Yes. I mean, see,
mhm.
and Allah says, those whom Allah guides, none can misguide. And those whom He leads us, he don't lead them astray. They go astray because of their foolishness. Nobody can guide. Allah says, it is the same whether you warn them or warn them not.
Yes.
They will not believe.
Yes.
So, and how we are, oh man, Allah said, no, drop the word on them and let them go.
La.
Ikra,
Ikra.
yeah, read to them.
Ikra, read. Yeah, Ikra.
Read
Ikra,
to,
yes,
read
that's
to
the first thing the angel said to Muhammad. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the basis of dawah. Is let me read you this. Like the brother read to me some Quran, I became Muslim. And let me read you this, because they said, oh wow, man, because then that forms a whole conversation, about the subject, especially like Mary alayhi salam, because Allah talks about her as one of the greatest women.
Yes, alhamdulillah. Yes, she has a whole chapter in the Quran,
Ooh,
mashallah.
for her, you know.
Yeah,
And so,
sure.
so how is any Muslim going to talk bad about Mary? They can't. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, I read the Quran to my grandmother is 95 now, but when I became Muslim, I went and got a Quran in Spanish that someone gave me as a gift. And I read it to her, and she had never heard of Islam in her entire 94 years. And she says to me, "What is this book? This is the truth." And I told her about Islam, and then she took her Shahada with me a few weeks later. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Oh man, that is so beautiful. So beautiful. So beautiful. Wow. That is a super, 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 super blessing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give her everything that she desires. Everything.
Alhamdulillah, yes. And I'm going to make a Hajj for her eventually.
Yes.
Yeah, she's not able to do
Yes.
that herself, but.
And and I appreciate you thinking like that, because look, one day a friend of mine said, he called me, Yusef, come here. He said, man, look, I got my passport. He said, man, I'm gonna go and make this Hajj. The next day he died.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
Oh Allah. So as I was washing his body, he had that big old smile on his face, and I was washing his body. I said, look, brother so-and-so, if Allah gives me the means, I'm going to make Hajj for you.
Alhamdulillah.
And so we washed his body, blah, 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 wrapped and shrouded and buried. That same year is when they asked me to go to the UAE to go to the Islamic school over there. And I said, okay, I'll go, because I needed to freshen up on a lot of things. Sure. And so they said, well, look, Yusef, you did so good that we're going to send you to Hajj.
Oh, wow.
Send me to Hajj? I said, yeah. I said, okay. So then the first thing we did was that we went to Medina. And then we went to a spot where that's where you make your intentions from. And so I said, oh Allah, make my intentions to make this Hajj for brother so-and-so and so-and-so. Make the Umrah and Hajj for him.
Umrah and Hajj. Alhamdulillah.
So I did it, alhamdulillah, bil ameen. And so I got back to the States. I went to his gravesite, and just to let him know, I said, well, now we can call you Hajj.
Oh, wow.
I made it for you, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it, And, and that's where, want for your brother what you want for yourself,
Yeah, of course.
And a lot of people take that with a different meaning. They take it as saying, excuse me, whatever you got, man, you got to have for me, or you got, begging. Say, they don't mean that. It means that whatever I do have, I want you to have it also.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm gonna show you how to get it.
Yeah, you're gonna help them get it. It's different than just like getting it. If you know how to do it yourself. Yeah, it's different.
You go in your pocket, here you go, and then he's waiting every time you go in your pocket.
Yeah.
But if you teach on knowledge, you say, "Oh, excuse me, let me go, 'cause I gotta go and get this knowledge,"
Yeah.
So
I've always been sorry.
Yeah. And I look, I see the I see the Islam in you, and that's a good thing.
I feel so blessed every day, and I don't know how to express it. I just feel blessed every day, blessed beyond measure. One of my neighbors, I used to greet my neighbor every morning, and I say, "How are you?" And she'd say, "I'm blessed beyond measure." And I became Muslim. I thought, yes, this is true. I am blessed beyond measure.
Yeah.
So many blessings.
And there's nothing wrong with you wishing blessings on your friends and family, whether they Muslim or not Muslim.
Sure.
Because see, look, one thing that a lot of us fail to realize, that Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is Rahmatil Alameen. I'm going to translate.
Oh, yes, please do.
Is the mercy to mankind.
That's true.
To
There's that
mankind.
verse. Yes.
It's in the Quran. And
Mm-hmm.
Allah says, and Muhammad is the Uswatang Hasana. I would say, oh man, this guy with all this crazy stuff. It means he's the best example to follow.
Alhamdulillah. Yes.
Allah tells us that. He's a mercy to mankind because I gave him to you as a mercy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the best example to follow in spite of whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Say, Muhammad is the best example.
Yes.
So
yes.
as long as that we have that in our minds and we have some kind of clarity as to the whole situation, because that's what Islam does. It unravels all that mystery and it makes everything clear. You say, oh man, I didn't know that. Like we say, oh man, but you do know it. But it's just that we don't practice it, and sometimes we forget. So but alhamdulillah, I mean that if you love Allah's creation, Allah's gonna love you. If you treat Allah's creation right, Allah's gonna treat you right.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Mm-hmm.
And and that's the same, like if you see a brother or a sister doing wrong, you go up to them and you tell them quietly.
Yeah, quietly. Not in front of everyone, not embarrassing them, not like, I saw what you were doing last night,
Yeah, you say, look, you need to put a little cover on yourself, and plus you need to ask Allah to forgive you, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm through talking, man. I just want to, and I'm telling you because I love you.
Exactly. Yes.
And if I didn't love you, I wouldn't be telling you nothing. Let you keep on dragging yourself,
Yeah.
But
sure.
But as as lovers of life, you have to love, lost creation, cats, dogs, the whole thing,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and so and look, and it's hard, sometimes, because you say, man, how can I love that guy? You gotta forgive them for everything, because a lot. Oh, and they just, you don't want to forgive so and so, but you want me to forgive you?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, how come I'm forgiving you if you're not willing to forgive so and so?
There you go. So
Yeah.
go back and ask for his forgiveness. That's it. And it's so simple, Look, I had, a misjudgment, I would say, about the way I was raised by my dad and so forth. And I, even though that, I had developed a whole lot of animosity,
Sure. Yes. Yes. I know what you mean.
But in the end, I had to learn how to forgive,
Yes. And that was one of the blessings for me when I took my Shahada, was I was actually able to forgive, especially my father. I was able to forgive him. And I had tried for 20 years to forgive the man. I could never do it. It was never, I had told him verbally that I had forgiven him, but I never really felt it. But after I took my Shahada, I realized I really had forgiven him for the first time. I really did that. And it was a surprise to me because I had struggled with it for so long.
And I promise you that I had to struggle with that, but at least I was able to clear my mind, my heart, and all that. And to realize that that the love of Allah, there's nothing compared to it, because we couldn't do that,
Yes, we couldn't do that. You're right.
Yeah. So I'm really appreciative to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for me becoming Muslim. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah the Most High, to to let me die as a Muslim, and to protect all my family, and to protect all my friends, and all mankind, you know. And then you see like people like Hitler and that, or Trump.
Oh, Trump, that was subhanallah. Both my parents voted for him both times. Subhanallah.
Yeah. But Allah, alhamdulillah, rescued us from that fool, you know.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
And because he was something else. But look, because a lot of things that, especially the work that I was doing as a chaplain, and when one of the brothers got, he was going to be executed, and
yes, you mentioned that in the book. I was wondering about that.
Yeah,
please go on.
And both of the brothers they executed, but the second one, it was during the times that Trump had had put Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, Brett Kavanaugh.
And so that, I mean, we gotta say of execution from the most crazy person I would say on the Supreme Court to what's his black dude's name? Yeah, Thomas.
Clarence Thomas.
Oh, yeah,
Clarence Thomas. Yeah, Clarence Thomas.
He gave us a stay of execution.
Wow.
Clarence Thomas said, "Man, that sounds strange," but I said, "Well, we can accept that." And it wasn't about an hour after that the stay of execution was over with.
Oh wow.
And so the way that they did me for being able to be there for the Muslim brother, well, I made sure that if I wasn't going to be there, that nobody was going to be there,
Sure.
And I instructed the brother on everything that he had to do while he was being executed. And alhamdulillah, I mean, they both of them did it,
Yeah.
So, but these people, they're so cruel that it took me like 3 days to get the body, and then when I got the body, I had to call all over New York.
Wow.
I mean, the newspapers, Catholic organizations, and so forth and so on, for me to get that body.
Wow.
Then when I got the body, I opened the zip. I unzipped it like that, I opened it. I said, "Oh," I had to close it back again because his chest was wide open.
Oh my gosh, no. So
and his chest was wide open. It was filled with sand.
Sand.
And then his head was back like that, and they had, cut it and whatever. And so I had to call the funeral director, send somebody over here to sew him up,
Yeah.
So once he sewed him up, we washed the body and tried it, and we buried it. We paid for everything, And that's the way we got it with the Muslims on death row in Alabama.
Sure.
That if they let us, we'll bury them in a Muslim cemetery,
Yeah, of course.
And we'll bear the cost, So alhamdulillah, we buried one brother in Mobile, and the last brother got executed. We sent him to Atlanta because they have a Muslim cemetery up there, because the family, that we want them close to us and this and that.
Yeah, of course.
But I said, look, y'all got me breaking my word to your brother, because I signed a paper here saying that I would take care of his body, and he said that whatever I wanted to do was up to me.
Sure.
And I know y'all family and all that, so we went through a whole thing. I said, the only way that I'm gonna let you get the body is that the funeral director from Atlanta got to call me and certify that he's gonna get the body and so forth. And I need to see a picture of it so That's what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I paid for it. I mean, not all we paid for it, and
Yeah.
so at least we could have demanded that. Anyway, that's the way it turned out. He was burned out in Atlanta, but people they especially family they want to put angels with wings on top of the grave, and the brother
Oh, they
snatched.
want it in a, yeah, sure.
Yeah, he snatched. He said, "Look, you can't put nothing on these graves. The only thing you put on is some flowers. That's it."
Yeah,
But
yeah, they're very
any
simple.
figurines or anything like that, no. And and we had a name plaque for him, and with his name, his Muslim name, and so forth and so on. So basically, we had to fight with the family to make sure that all that was
Wow.
done.
So almost like he reverted at one point, and then his family was was having a hard time dealing with that even after he died.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so they. Oh, well, he's our brother, and I said, "Look, I know y'all want the best for him, but this is what he wanted, and what about his wish? Y'all think y'all just being selfish. Y'all think about yourself. Oh, because we gotta come from our land all the way to." I said, man, if it was my brother, I come to it ain't no big problem.
Wherever he wanted, yeah.
But they kept on, and so I said, well, okay, I'm the only way that I'm going to give you the body is that I get a call from the imam from up there and from the funeral director, and so he called me up. We talked a little bit and everything, and he said, "Don't worry, brother, that if he's coming up here, we're going to bury him Islamically."
That's good. That's good.
And so then I had some sisters from Atlanta go, they have a little community, give them a little janaza prayer, And so but he had a janaza prayer in Mobile and over there.
Wow.
But so then what I did was I put in a lawsuit against the Department of Corrections, against the state of Alabama. It's a federal case,
That's what I was wondering about, because it didn't seem you mentioned in your book when I was reading it that they were not treated in a respectful manner according to Islam, and I was wondering what. So it was the way they treated the body, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean they did both bodies like that,
That is.
And look, and there was no way that I could say, oh, they opened the chest. Now, where's the lungs? And where's this?
Yeah, sure.
But their thing is that they say, this body is ours. He belonged to us until we cut him loose and give him to you.
Wow.
And so I said, okay. So I made a big fuss out of it. And on the second body, they cut him loose the next day. Because I had all kind of people calling up there. And, Yeah. So, but I let them people know that I wasn't kidding with them, If I told the chaplain, if you think that I'm kidding with you, watch what's coming. Watch what's coming your way, because you're going to be part of the suit also,
Sure.
So the suit is, we seek compensation, but we're going to let the jury decide that. But what I am demanding is a trial by jury.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
So this way, everybody can, air out whatever they got to do.
Yeah.
But as it stands right now, all executions are on hold in America.
Oh, that's good. Alhamdulillah.
Until this case is solved, So, I say, well, alhamdulillah, Allah, make me the Latino Malcolm X, or make me the Latino, oh man, may Allah forgive me. The Latino, what's his name? The black brother.
Oh, I don't know. I'm so bad.
May Allah forgive me. But anyway, these are all brothers that struggle for humanity, And so I just want to be, so they can say, oh, that was a Latino that, So
Yeah,
So,
sure.
yes,
So what's it been like being Latino? Like when I go to the masjid, the only person besides me who's Latino and Muslim is my grandma in Missouri. When I go to the masjid, they always think I'm Pakistani or Palestinian or Arab or any